mass rallies, I've got to be honest, but good crowds of good people really interested in the future of the Labour Party. And I was coming here tonight thinking that it should be like a second home for me, Essex. Because having moved from Pontypridd, where I mainly grew up, and where I live presently and represent, I moved to Barry Island. Institution for social change, for improvement in people's lives, for economic justice, for social mobility that we've ever created in this country. The greatest institution bar none. A beacon of hope, I think, for many people in Essex, in Pontypridd, working people right across Britain. And the reason so many people are here tonight and in all of these meetings is we're all worried about where the future of this Labour Party is going, about what the future holds for us, including all of those hundreds of thousands of people who've joined the party in recent months. Because the truth is, where I've been, where I've gone, what I'm hearing from new members and old members is pretty much the same. What they want is a Labour Party that's a catalyst for change in their communities. What they want is a Labour Party that believes in fairness and tolerance and equality and solidarity and policies to implement those values, and wants us to be that. And a lot of people, I think, responded positively to Jeremy last year because they felt that's what he was expressing. And I think there was a desire in our party and in our country for a politics that was a bit more idealistic and a bit more hopeful and a bit more optimistic and aspirational, actually, for the entire country. I've always felt that the Labour Party is a party that has to try and make hope credible rather than despair convincing. That's our job. We're the optimists in this game. We're the people who tell people that they can be better, the world can be better, their communities can be better. And right now, it doesn't feel that politics is making life better for people. It's why so many people, I think, have drifted into a deep sense of pessimism about their communities. It's why UKIP is flourishing in parts of the country. It's why the Tories have flourished in parts of the country. And it feels to me that I've been here before. It's exactly where we were in the 1980s, when I grew up in South Wales. And we saw then a radical right-wing Tory government with a really clear set of objectives. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to undercut wages. They wanted to make sure that people were, I think, not achieving their full potential. They were determined to disinvest in the NHS. They were determined to reduce the power of working people through their trade unions being hamstrung. We're back there again. We're back there again right now. Just look at what's happened in the last 6 years. The NHS is being privatised in Britain. It's been denationalised. They've taken away that line 1, clause 1 of the NHS, written by Bevan in 47, that the Secretary of State has a duty to provide an NHS free at the point of use in every part of the UK. Let's be clear, the politics of hatred is more virulent in Britain right now than it has been for generations, and Angela's government, the last Labour government, did something truly remarkable in this country in making us more tolerant about diversity of all sorts, but it's another area where we are going backwards in our own party and in the country. But one of the things we've got to fight against is the notion that we are divided in the Labour Party right now, between Jeremy Corbyn supporters and the rest of it. The notion that Jeremy's the only socialist in the village. I'm not having people felt that the Labour Party has shifted from being a party on the side of working people, that we, slipped into a soggy consensus in the middle ground of politics, that we weren't in favour of investing in communities, that we were prepared basically to see lots of gains being made by a few people and the rest being trickled down. We weren't proud enough about what we did. We didn't articulate widely enough that we were doing massive redistribution under the last Labour government. We didn't talk about the million pensioners, the million children, sure start, the fact that we introduced a living wage, a minimum wage in this country. If we'd made all those arguments with a bit more vigour and been clearer about what our red lines were as Labour, we wouldn't have ended up with some of the cynicism about politics being too centralist and too limited. But crucially, for those people who are voting UKIP right now, the only real antidote we've got is investment in their communities. which is why the British New Deal, big investment programme, £200 billion. I mean, that is an enormous programme. And not a single economist in Britain or anywhere else has disagreed with me about that being necessary. And mark my words again, the Tories are going to do it. The Tories will start investing in Britain in the next few years, because they too realise they made a massive mistake in employing austerity and reducing the stimulus to our economy. So they will invest. And unless we've made this argument early, we'll be behind the curve again, dragging in their wake. And frankly, that is death for us. If we're behind them on making investment decisions on behalf of the people.
Owen Smith, tonight's session, how do you think it went?
I think it went extremely well. I think right across the country what I'm finding is many people who voted for Jeremy last time and felt hopeful that he would be able to take Labour forward are now very worried that he's not able to do that, that we're not connecting to voters in this part of the world, or indeed in many parts of Britain, and they know that what we need is a change in leadership at the top of the Labour Party and reconnect us to this country, win back a bit of trust.
Do you talk about not Jeremy and Jeremy this and Jeremy that, do you think you're getting your message regarding your programmes tonight?
I think so. I think I did tonight. I think I'm really clear we should have a massive investment programme, £200 billion, a British New Deal, investing here in Basildon, in Billericay, in Thurrock, in all of those towns in this part of the world that feel that they need investment, that they're being left behind, that opportunities are being enjoyed more elsewhere in the country, that people are getting better outcomes elsewhere in the country. That's the sort of Labour message that's going to connect with people here. They know that their class sizes are too big. They know they've got problems with their hospitals, A&E, maternity, waiting times. They know that they need proper policing in this part of the world. All of that requires investment, not cuts. And I'm clear that's what we should be doing.
And finally, you mentioned a divided party never wins. Either way, how are you going to reunite your party?
Around my programme. I'm going to stand up there, I'm going to say, here's what's wrong with Britain. I'm going to take on the Tories vigorously. I'm going to be a powerful leader of an opposition that really holds their feet to the fire, and then I'm going to make sure that everybody knows exactly what Labour stands for and deliver a Labour victory on the back of the Labour programme.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Martin Carey, Councillor for Grace Riverside. How do you think tonight's meeting of Owen Smith went?
I think it went very well. I think Owen Smith has a vision which is for ordinary working people who want to get on in the world. He spoke about people in rented accommodation, people on low incomes, but also people who aspire to university and people who want to benefit from the rewards in this country. And he did say about pooling the risks but also sharing the rewards, and I think there's a lot of that needed both in the country and in Thurrock specifically.
I mean, you're on the door most weekends, I think you'll see that.
Yes.
Is it a toxic brand, Labour?
Toxic, I don't think it's toxic. I think because people who used to vote Labour and are against Labour are only against because they still want to believe in it. It's the classic thing, used to support something and then you don't. And I think people who I speak to who are against Labour want to come back. They need a reason, and I believe that what I've heard tonight would be a reason for people to come back.